Hey guys, Sen here, back in with some more capital raids, and today we're going to be looking at how you can use the Hog Raiders in the clan capital. So the Hog Raiders are a lot like their home village counterpart in the Hog Rider, except these come in a pack of 3 and one of them starts as the Hog Glider, which if the Hog Glider reaches its target, it will stun the defense for 4 seconds on the approach. And you can use that ability to stun most of the defenses from where you're sending your hogs, but you can also hold back on some of your hogs so you can send the hog glider deeper into the base and stun, say, a crusher, a bomb tower, or another big splash defense deeper on inside the base. Because just like in the home village, the main threat to your hogs are the splash defenses, because the hogs will do really well against the point defenses and other single target defenses in the base. Now, the splash defenses in the clan capital are extremely threatening, especially the rocket artillery, which will almost one-shot your hogs, and it will one-shot your hogs if it's combined with, say, a giant bomb or a couple of small bombs. So there are some defenses you have to be extremely careful of in the clan capital, which is why most people won't be using the hog raiders on their first attack. Instead, they'll be using a setup attack with, say, archers mainly to set up the hogs by taking out some of those key defenses while setting up good pathing through the base. So in today's replays, I'm going to be showing you guys how you can set your hogs up for success, because when you set them up properly, they are some of the strongest troops in the clan capital. Alright, so when you're using the hog raiders, it's always about your setup attack. And for your setup attack, you want to get down as many of those high threat defenses on the base, as well as setting up good pathing for your hogs on the attack when you're going to use them. So on this base, Balloon Lagoon, the number one threat to hogs in the clan capital is these rocket artillery. So we're going to try to get down as many of these as we can. On bases that have giant cannons and blast bows, you also want to be thinking about getting those down if you can. And on this Balloon Lagoon, there's also 2 bomb towers and 2 crushers. And if you'll notice, a lot of the key splash defenses are concentrated on this bottom side of the base. So if I'm able to push in to this bottom side with my archers, I'm able to get a crusher, 2 bomb towers, and 2 rocket artilleries, and I don't have to push through that many compartments, just 3 compartments I have to get through all of that splash, and all that's going to be left on the base is the rocket artillery and the crusher. So let's just watch how I'm able to get this done. I'm being fancy on this attack. You don't have to be fancy. You'll notice that I've brought some super wizards in with my archers, and the plan with those super wizards is I'm going to chain off the rocket artilleries with my super wizards and hopefully splash down a bunch of the defenses around the rocket artillery. That's a fun strategy that I like to use, the super wizards and the rams, because I personally don't like using archers because I find them really slow and really boring to use. So super wizards with rams is a way that I've been spicing them up. So you can use it if you want. I don't recommend it necessarily if you're new to the clan capital and you just want a more stable strategy to use. You can just go with the archers, that's fine, but I play a lot of accounts, so I like using fun attacks like this, and it is really effective if you execute it properly. So I'm just pushing through the base with my archers, trying to get to that rocket artillery, because I have to clear out all the defenses towards the rocket artillery before I can send some super wizards to directly target it. Let's just speed up those archers, because once again, they're really boring to use and kind of boring to watch as well. So I'm at the rocket artillery, I send in some rams to tank, and drop in some super wizards, chain all of that down. And now we set our sights to this other rocket artillery. If we're able to get down this compartment as well, then we'll be really good to go with our hogs. So I drop in my second rage, like that, try to clip this rocket artillery with my super wizards, as well as try to clip some of these defenses over here so I can get them down with my archers. And now we're at the second rocket artillery. We also triggered that one trap, and we don't have any more rams, so I just used some super barbs to tank. So drop in a ram, my last ram, and then super barbs, and then send in those wizards, chain that all down. Send in a camp of archers under that rage. See how I clipped those archers with that rage? And at this point, we just want to take out these last couple of defenses that are low with our archers, and we are good to go with our hog attack. Alright, so when you're using hog riders and you haven't taken out, say, a rocket artillery or a giant cannon, those are the biggest killers of your hogs. So you have to make sure that you can either get to it quickly or have something in to tank for it while your hogs are working their way towards it. So there are two main troops that you're going to do with that. One is a giant. You'll use a giant when there's not many defenses around. It's only going to get hit by the rocket artillery, and it can tank quite a few shots. Also, you don't have to get through that many defenses to get to the rocket artillery. But the plan with my hogs, and I'll get into why in a minute, is I get through all of these defenses first, so they'll path their way over to here, this spear thrower, and then get through this rocket artillery. And so that's a lot of defenses and HP that my hogs have to work through. And so I bring a bigger P.E.K.K.A, and the P.E.K.K.A has a lot more HP and can tank some of the other defenses for longer as well. So I decide to go with the P.E.K.K.A because if you let this rocket artillery rain down on your hogs, you'll basically just lose them all at once. These things almost one-shot your hogs, so you have to be really careful with them. Now, the reason I start my hogs over here is because I realize that the pathing is nicer for my hogs. Say if I try to drop my hogs over here, try to get to the rocket artillery as soon as possible. The problem with that is the pathing isn't as nice. I get through the rocket artillery, go through all of this, finish. My hogs are going to split over here, and I'm going to lose a lot of hogs because you'll notice that it's a thin strip of defenses over here, but once they reach this back end, my hog riders are going to split in all different directions, and I'm going to lose a lot of hog riders. So if I try to get through all of these defenses before getting into this compartment, I'm going to have lost a lot of my hogs, and I might not have enough juice to push through this last compartment. So I want to be able to finish on this side of the base where my hogs are going to split in different directions, try to get them healed as they approach that section. But I know my hogs aren't going to keep together, which is usually what you want to do with your hogs. Because if your hogs split in different directions, they're going to get picked off by defenses from all different directions as well. So that's the reason why I decide to start on this compartment, so that I don't have to end here. So I drop in that P.E.K.K.A to start tanking that rocket artillery. Notice how I drop some of my hog riders towards this crusher. Your hog riders come with hog gliders, which stun defenses on their approach. And so I stun the crusher, and I don't even have to drop a heal through that crusher. I'm able to save my heals for deeper into the base, and you're going to see that that comes in really important as this attack comes sort of close towards the back end. So I heal as I get some of the traps and get through the rocket artillery. And then with my second heal, I drop my heal to clip the Inferno. Because usually you want to drop your heals in places where your hogs are going to be for a while. There's a lot of defenses and a lot of HP that my hogs have to get through, and also the Inferno has a lot of HP, so that's a place where my hogs are going to stand for a really long time. And so I'm able to beat through the back end because I'm able to save those two heals. One, because I stunned the crusher with my hog gliders, and then two, because I tanked the rocket artillery with my P.E.K.K.A on the approach. So having those two heals for the back end was really critical for me to be able to get through all of that point defense on the back end. And so this base is done, and we just have to clean up the rest of the trash with those hogs. So getting to the second replay, once again, when you're using hogs, you need to figure out where the high value defenses on the base are. So there's 2 rocket artilleries, 2 bomb towers, and 2 crushers this time on the base. And you can see this compartment has so much value for my hogs, so I want to push through the top side of the base. I've already used some barbs to clear out the trash so I can deploy archers up there. But I want to push through this top side and grab these 2 rocket artilleries and this bomb tower on our setup attack. And when you're trying to take down districts in 2 attacks, you always want to be looking for weaknesses in the base. And against this base, what I notice is this Crusher over here is good to get if I'm using Hog Riders, but you'll notice that it's surrounded by a lot of cannons, and those are all ground targeting defenses. So what I see is if I'm able to remove all of the air targeting defenses in this area, I can just send one camp of minions up top here, get this cannon, they'll move their way down to this other cannon and work their way down through all of these ground defenses. And with one camp of minions, I can take down 7 defenses if I can set it up properly. So not only do I want to take out the bomb tower, which I just did, as well as these 2 rocket artilleries with my rages and archers, I also want to grab these spear throwers and this rapid rocket on the back end to set a nice padding for my minions and clear out all of the air targeting defenses in the area. So we'll just work my way through with my archers at this point. Just drop them in one by one. It's really slow, kind of boring, but we'll get it done. We'll get through those last defenses in that compartment, and then we can start getting into that second rocket artillery. It's very important that you take those out or have a really solid plan to get into those quickly on your hog attack. But yeah, at this point I still have a couple camps of archers and I'm taking out that spear thrower, so I try to go for this bomb tower as well. I'm not able to take it down, but I'll just bring one more camp of archers for the next attack. And let's get into the finishing hit with our hog riders. We've already set this base up really nicely. We start with our minions up top like I said, and we want those minions to work their way down and take out all of these cannons and this crusher. We sent a pack of archers to take out that bomb tower, and there's only one crusher left on the base, but this bottom side has a lot of traps. We didn't face many traps on our archer entry, so I guessed that there's going to be a lot of traps, and so I was ready to drop my first heal early. Usually with hogs, you want to save your heals for deeper in the base, but you do have to keep them alive, so don't be afraid to use them when there's a lot of traps in the area. So, getting into this attack, there's a Skelly Barrel I sent from up north. That's a trick that I like to do against Inferno towers, and especially areas without that much splash. So at this point, the space is completely crushed. I have so many Hog Raiders left, and they're able to easily beat through the back end of the base. Alright, I hope you guys enjoyed today's replays, and more importantly, you were able to take something away from them, because the Hog Raiders are a really strong troop in the clan capital when you use them properly, and archers aren't even the only way you can set them up. I've been experimenting with using rocket loons to set them up, and if you can use rocket loons to set up your Hog Raiders, you can even bring more heals on the second attack, and your Hog Raiders are going to be able to get even more of the base. So that's a really cool strategy that I've been working on, and I'm looking to bring a video about that strategy sometime in the near future. But like and subscribe if you enjoyed today's video, and I hope to see you in the next one. Take care.